Latasha Carpenter, but everybody calls me your girl Tasha because when you hang with me, what it is like you are hanging with your girl. And in the studio today, we have a special show for you guys. It's all about love. So y'all thought Valentine's Day in February was the love month. Love is about every single day. So today I have three wonderful people joining me in the studio, and I'm going to allow each one of them to introduce themselves.
So I am D'onte Carrolls, one half of the wonderful group, soon-to-be married couple Carrolls Ever After, and this is my fiance.
Hi, I'm LaMika Robinson, also a part of Carrolls Ever After, and I'm also a DC native, so shout out to my city.
DC.
And I am Derrick Jones, a.k.a. Mr. Car Logic. Y'all gonna see what I'm gonna do in a minute.
Well, y'all saw a little bit of what Mr. Car Logic did in the beginning. What did y'all think about that? And yes, Terrence in Chicago, I thank you. That's right, guys. Go down to that left-hand side, click that share button, invite. Know that if you want to call in and you want to make comments, you're calling in on 301-429-9247. Again, I'm going to say that 301-429-9247. Thank you for sharing, Alicia. Thank you for sharing, Michelle. Appreciate everybody. We're going to watch all these. Hey, we're going to watch all of these watch parties. I see y'all got it going on. So, as he said, my fiance.
Yes.
And the wonderful couple there. The first question I'm going to use is one of your questions. How did you guys meet? That's such an easy question.
Yes, I'm going to let her tell her story.
Yes, I like to hear that. It's always a Mars and Venus type of story there.
Yes, it is, and it definitely is. How we met. The simple version of this is at church. We met at church. We are PK, so we grew up in church, always at church, doing something at church. And so I was like coming home from college, like my first year or so of college, and I was in the choir loft, and I looked up because we went to a small church, not a lot of young people coming through all the time, and my father had just started pastoring. I was like, oh, it's a young person. Who is that? I don't know. Okay. Somebody said who he was, and then that's how we first encountered each other.
This was like 11 years ago, just about 11 years ago.
Well before life happened, and we got married, had kids. And graduated from college. This is well before. We're super young at this point.
Yeah.
And your version?
My version it's kind of similar to hers, actually, Tasha. So we did meet in church. I was sitting next to my mother on like the third or fourth row, and she was singing. She had just started her locks. Her locks were like really, really short, and she had this white shirt, green sweater, green skirt, sleeves rolled up. And I looked over to my mother and I was like, Mom, I said, who is that? And she was like, she said, oh, that's Reverend Robinson's daughter. I said, she's cute, and then what really moved me besides the looks was she could sing. And I was like, her worship is so pure and it's so authentic. And I was like, man, she is just too cute. And she always had to smile like she is now. And so that's my story.
He's just trying to get some brownie points, acting like he knew what she had on.
He was actually right, though. I only had one outfit that looks like that. He was right.
He passed the test, guys. He passed the test.
Right.
Men know what your woman got on when you first meet her.
So we're not going to just let you guys have fun. Derrick, how did we meet, baby?
How did who? Me and you?
Yeah, how did we meet?
Oh, we're going to tell this story. Okay, so we were both in the same network marketing company, and we went to one of those conventions that they always have, and I went by myself. I left, my wifey wanted to come, but I had to go ahead and hold the fort down. And one night, I thought that, normally at these conventions, everybody hangs out in the lobby and you kind of mix and mingle. Well, the lobby had like maybe one person in it. And I was like, what am I going to do? And so I walked outside because I saw Tasha and a couple other people sitting on like a little bench. And I was like, I don't know what to do. And Tasha was like, well, we about to go such and such a place. You coming with us. And I was like, okay. And that was me hanging with your girl Tasha. And I didn't even know her.
Hanging with your girl Tasha.
There we go. That's how it all began. So, guys, something unique that we wanted to do today is this show is all about people finding love again after divorce, okay? Or even if you're that person that you didn't get married, but you was in a long relationship and you had a bad breakup, this is for you too. So again, I'm going to stress that I need y'all to share and invite. And just a little bit of a surprise in case these two don't know, because see, they coming on here thinking that they the subject experts. they're going to have somebody that's going to really be checking what they talking about. Because, see, Derrick and I both are divorced people. Well, Derrick is remarried. Derrick is remarried. I'm not remarried, but I am in a relationship. So we're going to be able to, we're going to like really know what's going on here when they start talking, okay? So one of the questions that I want to ask you guys is basically, what did each of you individually do to prepare yourselves before you decided to go out dating?
Do you want to start? Or do you want me to start? I wouldn't say that I intentionally prepared myself, because I did not, after my divorce, I tell anybody I was ready to be a Baptist nun. I ain't got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody thinking about that. And so unintentionally during that time, I found myself really focusing on self, really focusing on reflecting and putting a mirror to my face, because in any relationship, whether there was 50% or 50% and 80% and 20%, there's a degree of responsibility for the failed relationship that rests on both people. So I also had to put a mirror to myself and say, hey, think about what happened. And then, you know, just taking time, reflecting with God, trying to heal. I think one of the most important things that you can do if you're trying to open yourself up to whatever is next for you, whether it's a relationship or not, is one, just to focus on yourself and self-love. How you going to give your gift to somebody else if you can't love yourself right for the start? But self-love is super important, and getting yourself back together, because you can't put a definition, you can't leave it to somebody else to put a definition on who you are and what you deserve, but you have a sense of that within yourself. And so loving on myself was a key.
Wow. Most people don't do that.
Yeah. Mine is kind of similar.
That's amazing.
Mine is kind of similar because when I got married, I was actually 19. So we talking kind of fresh out of high school when I met my ex-wife. I was like 17, 18, fresh out of high school, right into college. And so I never even had an opportunity to be a young man fresh into college and to do those kind of things. Like, I went kind of right into parenthood at the time, you know, because she had children. Mm-hmm. And so not even that, by the time I had separated, I was just trying to breathe and just find myself and find out who I was, because I felt like I didn't have a voice. I didn't know who I was. You know, I had 2 boys biologically from the marriage. And so I was like, well, you know, I had it settled in my mind that by the time I die, whether I'm 80 years old, I'm going to be DJ and Nigel's dad, the coolest grandfather on the planet, preach, 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 work, 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 travel. I wouldn't get into no more relationships. Make sure they had healthy relationships by telling them what I had to go through and be honest with them when the time was ready, when I felt like they could understand it. But other than that, I was just trying to find myself, you know.
Okay, so both of y'all saying that y'all had no intention on looking for nothing else. It was like, the heck with it. So when did y'all both get the epiphany that you wanted to try this thing again?
That was, honestly, so first of all, I think it's important to say that when we kind of came into each other's lives in a meaningful way, it was really to be friends, actually. Mm-hmm. Like, we weren't trying to hook up or do anything or get into no relationship. Yeah. You know, and it was just she was like a breath of fresh air just to be a good friend. And so that's kind of what it was. We were
both in the divorce process, you know, when we became friends. It really, like, when I tell you, when you look, okay, when you've had a journey, enough of a journey, okay, I wouldn't think about that. But God has a sense of humor, and He has a way of surprising you, and that's pretty much what happened. We wound up connecting. So we said we met the first time, right? Mm-hmm. We wound up really fully encountering each other probably about 10, 11 years later. We had both had children. We had both been married for some years. And at this point, you know, we were both actually going through a divorce process. So at the point we met each other, we were already going through that process, and we didn't even know. And so he came to preach one Sunday, and the word really resonated with me or whatever. And then I feel like a couple of weeks later or something like that,
like a week or two later,
I had a really rough day and I needed a word. And I was like, yo, Reverend Carroll, I heard he's going through his own little journey. Maybe he got a word for me. And wasn't nothing else going down in the DMs. Nothing else going down in the DMs. Yeah, but the word of God in the scripture. Because that's how he responded.
That's exactly how I responded.
Yeah, and then it wasn't until a couple of weeks later that somehow we wound up reconnecting. And it was just a very natural conversation. So we were friends for quite some time. Yeah. And I ain't gonna lie, I ran from it because I was scared. Because I was like, I'm feeling him, but I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I can do that.
So, Derrick, you be my gauge. Did they answer my question?
Your question was what?
When did they have the epiphany that they wanted to do this thing again?
It was well after we had
probably
divorced.
a year and some change.
So what was that moment like? What turned the light bulb on for you?
I think letting go of fear. I think learning that I was safe, and so it took the friendship. It was a building process. It wasn't like just one epiphany of a moment, but it was a building process. There was a lot of different things that had happened that made me feel safe in terms of being able to trust again. And then when I felt that moment where I was like, wow, like he genuinely has my best interest, like he's my friend, he cares about me as a person. Then I was like, all right, God. And there was a lot of unique things that happened to kind of reinforce that kind of connection and the safety of it and things like that.
So you talking about fear. Did you have any fear?
Yeah.
Okay, so what was behind your fear?
Like, to describe what it was, or just...
What was fearful for you?
What were you afraid of?
Trusting. Finding somebody that I can trust, finding somebody that, I can say, hey, this is safe. This is a safe space. It's a safe... Forget relationship, but it's a safe friendship. Like, I can legit trust her, and we always talk about how women can trust a man, or but can a man trust a woman a lot of times? And sometimes we find ourselves in, not just relationships, but what I like to call situationships. And you find yourselves in situationships with people to where it's like, I find myself, am I wasting my time? Like, I don't really trust you. Do I really like you as a person? And so for me, it was more so like, do I really like her as a person? Do I really trust her? Is she somebody that I can say, hey, if anything goes down, do I know, can she tell me the truth about myself? Or is she want to say, hey, even in front of a million people to embarrass me, put me out there? But I found out I can trust her.
I was afraid of just getting hurt again. When you fall in love, like you deep in it, like you really deep in it, there's a degree of vulnerability that you lend to that person. You expose yourself. It's like exposing your neck, you know what I'm saying? Your major arteries. And there was a degree of me that had become exposed. And in that exposure, there was a great degree of hurt that was experienced. And so it's hard to let, especially when it's like a first love type situation, but it's hard to let go and let down everything and then have a difficult experience that makes you fundamentally question love and if love is ever safe. Like, that was the hard part.
So in doing that, when you guys think about being with a mate and you've been hurt by somebody and you reference, is she a person I even like? With your old relationships, you usually got into a relationship and you got married because you was attracted to the person.
Mm-hmm.
Did you look for different traits in each other than what you had in your previous person? Or did you just know in a previous relationship, this is the type of person I want, this is who I'm attracted to? Or were you just like, oh, hell no, I'm staying away from that?
That's a great question. And I completely dispelled the idea that I had a type. Like, to be honest, because, it didn't work. It didn't work, right? And so I had to kind of completely rethink and renew my thinking in my mind about the whole thing. And so I had to open myself up to the fact that I might... Now, there were some fundamental things that I asked for. I prayed. And I remember that day. I said, I want someone who would genuinely love me for who I am. Like, big or small, skinty or plus queen. That someone who was a man of integrity and loved the Lord, somebody really compassionate, and someone who would... Because I'm a package deal, right? And I'm speaking out there to any woman or man who has a child and they're potentially coming into a long-term commitment. That's a package deal. And I have a small child. And so I said, if I'm going to be with anybody, I got to be with someone who's going to love my child like they love me. Like, they got to have that real type love. Like, they look at that child and they see their son. And so if you weren't going to be able to love my child, then I couldn't go in that route again.
Yeah. And so for me, it was, I did everything 100% totally different, and I wish I would have known then what I know now, because we're talking like 10, 11 years later, and so I'm like, well, I always felt like I had a purpose, I had a call in my life, and I love, Martin Luther King. So I always felt like Coretta was like the bomb to Martin. She held him down even when he was long gone. And so I always said, God, I need a Coretta in my life to where she might not even say a lot. She's so confident in herself, she might not even say a lot. She will say her piece, but behind closed doors, she will let him have it. She will tell him who he is. Even those moments when he feels down and he might feel like Superman, but he's feeling like Clark Kent. She can see Clark Kent, deal with Clark Kent, but at the same time, give him that pat on the butt and then go be Superman out there in front of the world. You follow what I'm saying? But not only that, somebody that was connected to me spiritually to where I can feel her. I can feel her praying for me. Right, even when she's not even in the room. And there has been times, even in our friendship, to where she prayed for me, and verbatimly, I was able to tell her exactly what she prayed for because the Lord showed. Like, I asked for like a real serious spiritual connection. Just totally different from what my last situation and my last marriage was. Totally different.
All right. Different. So, Mr. Taking the emotions, because I think we heard a lot of emotions of what they just said. And putting those emotions into logic, I'm going to turn this over to you, sir.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
So break it down for everybody,
So that's what I'm going to do today, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to use them as the props. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 3 queens. Okay. So hold those up so they can see that. And I'm going to give you 3 kings. Okay, now, what this is going to do is the 3 cards are going to represent, like, we're going to pretend that you're divorced. We don't have to say what kind of time frame. You're both got divorced, and you're looking for or hoping that this person will be presented to you or you find this new person. The 3 cards represent your total readiness to fall in love again. Okay? And so in a perfect world, you got to hold the cards up.
Oh.
So they can see it. Yeah.
Okay.
No, this way.
This way.
Yeah. So he's looking for a woman that has 3 queens, and she's looking for a man that has 3 kings. Somebody that's ready for you when you're ready, whatever that means to you. Now, what she spoke about first was about loving yourself and figuring out what you need and what you want. But what happens a lot of times with a lot of us is that we come to the table like this. And so it's his job also to figure out what he wants so that when he meets her, he can see that she don't have 3 cards. And so now he knows that he has to walk away from that. No matter what it looks like, no matter how good it might feel and you around this person, she only got 1 card. She got some work to do. But what we also find is that you find 2 people, and these are the people that end up getting married because they both broken and they looking for somebody to help come fix them, but neither one have the tools to fix it, right? And so once she does the work, then she gonna put these 2 back, and vice versa. She may run into a guy that has 1 card, and now she has to be able to figure out enough about herself and what she needs, and she's praying and she's trying to figure out, and she needs to be able to walk away. Most of us don't know how to walk away because we're looking to fill a void. Wow. And so, like, for me personally, when I got divorced, I didn't know to do all of the soul searching and all of that. I said this person wasn't the one. And so I wasn't looking for someone that was right for me. I was just looking for someone that wasn't her. So I went totally I had her exact opposite, but what I needed was somewhere probably in the middle. And I didn't go looking for that. I just didn't want that again. So I went into another dysfunctional situation, and it wasn't because I didn't do the soul searching. And a lot of people live and thrive in that dysfunction, and they walk around with no cards.
Wow.
Right? No cards, and they looking for love. And we all know that love and that heart and those emotions are one of the most precious things we hold, and we don't want to just give that up for nothing. You're going to have to put some work in. You're going to have to do some proving, and because you're rebuilding the trust again. And so in a like I said, the perfect world, everybody has their full deck. But in real life, people are, and sometimes it's some people that it's just enough for you to work with, right? It's not going to be perfect. But when they have nothing, you got to be able to walk away from it. And that's what I always talk about with card logic is you have to be diligent enough to know when to walk away, or you're going to waste your time filling your time up with people that don't belong there, and you're going to block the blessing that's supposed to come in. So that's all I got.
All right, guys. So look, it's like this. Each one of us have a watch party going. We have main people on the main channel, WBGR Entertainment. If you go and click into that live, we'll definitely see all your comments. But we're trying to watch all the phones. So we got Miss Tanae Bowman saying yes, Mr. Jones. She liked that, Mr.
Me?
Jones. Yes, Mr. Jones.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it.
And Nita Buron said, I do. I will run. Tanya, you don't see the share button, baby. Look to the left. On the left of the screen at the bottom, you should see a share button. It's to the
left of where you type.
And if you can't share, you can always call in, guys, 301-429-9247. And I want to thank you. See how easy he takes those cards and helps you turn emotional problems into logic?
Right.
He's so good at it. Did you like that? Do you feel you got your 3 queens and you got your 3 kings?
Yeah.
Yeah, these two right here, though, after hearing them, they like unicorns. I don't know. There's so much dysfunction out here in the world.
Right, Tiffany,
she was like,
listen,
you ain't the last black unicorn.
But truthfully, I said, God, if I ever get remarried again, I want to have my stuff together. Not nobody else, but I want to have my stuff. Because honestly, by the time the divorce had happened, that was like 6 years. So that's 6 years of my life I can't get back. Starting at 19 when I got married. So I'm like, look, I can't go in. I'm almost near 30. Mm-hmm. I can't go into this, losing more hair than I should. I want to be in a good space and a good health, have good health for my children. So I wanted to be good for them, if nobody else for them, right? Because I didn't want to be 35 and I'm talking about I got aneurysm, heart attack, stroke, because I'm trying to figure out life, and something crazy or hectic, And so that's why it was real significant for me to like God did with me, fast pray. Like I had dropped 60 pounds, not because I was stressed, but because I was fasting. I'm a preacher, so I was fasting. I was trying to like, God, help me to deal with me about me before I can function and do anything about anything of the relationship, So that's just where my mind was with it.
Okay, so we have a question coming from Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones saying, what happens when logic fails?
What happens when logic fails is it's not about having 100% of your decision making being logic. There still has to be some emotion in there. But a lot of times it takes a lot of soul searching. You may have to talk to someone. I always talk about people going and talking to therapists and being able to have the dialogue, or a pastor or someone like that. Because if you don't have the critical thinking and the common sense and the logic, you're going to have to borrow it from somebody else. You're going to have somebody else help you map that out. Or you're going to go in a downward spiral and nobody wants you to be there. You're going to have to try to climb your way out of it, especially after a divorce. Because like I just said, they're unicorns. Most people, they want to fill that void now. They're like, I hate it feeling like that, but I know that the little good parts of it that I liked, I need to feel like that. So I need it right now. Let me go ahead and find 30 people to go date and figure out, and you never do the work. You never do the work.
I want to add something. One thing that I think is very important, we had talked about this too. When I was going through the whole separation process and divorce, like I was so focused on, just making sure things I got done, make sure my kids were good. I didn't take that time to pay attention to the wounds that I had. It wasn't until after everything was over with and, the dust cleared, and I was like, wait a minute. How when you fight all that adrenaline rushing and you going through that whole process, getting divorced, going back and forth to court, spending money with the lawyer. And when all that was over, I sat down like, wait a minute, why am I feeling this way? Now I'm starting to feel the wounds now because I'm like, I was cut, didn't even realize it. So now I'm left to deal with those wounds after it's over with. So no, I wasn't even in a situation or in a place to where I was like, I'm ready for a legit relationship. Like I found out I had wounds and craziness and stuff that, I was wounded. I was a wounded warrior, and I had to deal with that stuff.
So both of you guys, 2 things came out. One, just a general question, because it took y'all a while. Do you believe that there is some kind of formula or amount of time that a person must wait before they move from a divorce or from a long breakup into another relationship?
I would be hesitant to say that there's a specific timeline when you need to move on because everyone's degree of resilience, everyone's buy-in to their own healing process varies. Every person is so different. I would say, for me, in my own personal opinion, if I've been in a long-term relationship, then I would probably be inclined to say at least a year. That's just my personal opinion. because there's some wounds, as he mentioned, like that you don't even realize that you have. And I'm gonna give you an example, right? Something happened, and I got really upset with him about something stupid and trivial, and I had to catch myself. Like even it literally happened like 5 seconds later. Like I had to, before he could even respond, I was like, wait, I'm sorry. And he was just like, what was that all about? I said, that's not how you are. That's not how you function. And in that moment, my reflex, right? Because even after you've kind of left a certain type of situation or you moved on from certain types of things, we are creatures of habit, right? There are reflexes that you built over that long period of time. And sometimes you can't help your reflex. If somebody hit your knee in the right spot, that little sucker gonna kick up, right?
And that was one of my questions. How do you maneuver through the baggage from the previous relationships?
Well, for me, I had to go to counseling. Like, cause it had got to a point to where I was like, I needed to go because I started to find out that, hey, there's some stuff to where I'm like she said, that's not you. Like, when you do certain stuff...
Projecting.
Right.
Projecting.
I'm like, wait a minute. I don't want to treat you like the last person. I don't want to make you pay for anything, that somebody else did. When that's not even how you think, first of all. That's not even your intention. So how do I deal with my wounds? And what helped was she was with me. Like, she went with me. When I had to go to counseling, she went with me. She and that's how I had a whole new love for her after that, because she was there it was like an every other week thing. She was there, to check up on me and my well-being. You follow what I'm saying? To make sure I was good. And I was like, you know what? This is stuff that I was like, that's how I know you it. Because, you can't, I look good and I do all this stuff. I'm a great, amazing man, so you say. You follow what I'm saying? But, when it came to dealing with my wounds, she was very supportive. And so that was one of the things that, for me.
Counseling is powerful.
It's powerful.
And for me, I journaled a lot. I kind of like use my own kind of form of personal, like depending on whether you're introspective or like an extrovert. I journaled a lot, and that helped. But one main thing that really helped early on, I realized that I found myself rehashing what had it affected me so deeply at points. Like little triggers. We'll be talking about something random like some pancakes. I'll be like, I remember when X, Y, and Z happened and da-da-da-da-da. And I began to notice, because, I'm comfortable with him. We're in a partnership. So naturally, he's going to know my deepest, most challenging feelings and things like that, which you should be able to share. But I found myself, I was like, I'm talking about this too often, right? There's a healthy balance between, the catharsis of counseling and talking it out, and also reviving everything that you went through. And so one key thing that we agreed on really early on is to be careful of our language, to not allow the language that we use. If we're going to talk about anything dealing in our past, it's not for the purpose of beating down that person or reawakening the pain. It's going to be for the purpose of saying, instead of saying, you know what, I'm just making up something. When I was married last time, he did not like my cooking. He used to always complain. He always had something to say, but he didn't help me in the kitchen. To saying, and making it empowering. The next time I pursue a relationship, I would really like to be able to cook with my partner in the kitchen. Like, I'm not going to make my future.
Can I cook? I can cook some fried chicken. That's about it.
Oh, hell.
I'm not going to make it about, I'm just not going to make, you got to stop. There's a point where you got to stop making your future about your past. I can't anchor everything that I'm doing next, everything that I feel right now. Otherwise, my whole present is going to be about my past, and I'll never be able to let go of it. So I had to forgive myself, and I had to forgive the other person for anything that I felt from that relationship.
I call it relationship PTSD.
There we go. Y'all got a new term, relationship PTSD.
That's a good one.
And with
That's a good one.
Because it stays there until you purge it. You have to purge it. It's going to always be there because pain sticks with you, but
wounds, but it's closed
there.
up.
We talking about warfare, guys.
Yeah.
Warfare.
That's really what it is.
And on that note, it's time to pay our sponsors. We're going to break to commercial, and we see you back on the flip side.
Stay right here.
Good morning.
I just wanted to let you know my daughter has her genie in the bottle. This liquid gold product by Tella Divina is remarkable. If you have any spots, blemishes, things that you want to get rid of, pain, this thing, I'm telling you, I call it genie in the bottle because it is truly that. The sad thing is I have to sneak this from my daughter. She lives by this, and when I say every single day, she is on it. And if she knows that I'm in it, it's a problem. So I should just be getting one for myself. But this genie in the bottle is magical. Guys, I'm telling you, if you have these spots and things that you're trying to get rid of, try a dab of this and it will do you the goodness. Have a wonderful day.
Hey, I know I look my best, but who cares? I'm getting myself prepared to go out for the day. I just want to share a short video about this wonderful oil that I use in my sides of my hair. My hair used to be really thin on the sides, but I have something that I use every day, and it's been helping me, and my sides are going back again. It's called Liquid Gold. Ladies, and there might be some men out there that might be losing their hair on the side, but this oil right here is awesome. It's called Liquid Gold. And if anybody is interested in using this gold or wanting to try it out, just contact me. I'm about to rub some more on my head right now. My hair used to be really thin from wearing cornrows and tight plaits on my hair, but now that I use this stuff really works. I would like to show you how I use it, but it might be hard. Let me put this phone on. You only use a little bit. Put a tip of it on your finger, like this. See? I use this, and like I said, it's the bomb.
All right, we're back, and you guys saw it. Get with your girl Tasha about that liquid gold. I call that thing the Frank's Red Hot Sauce of skincare, because you put this oil on everything, okay? But we got a call going on, and where I have it here, I'm going to give everybody a dab. Let's see who we got on the lines. Hanging with your girl Tasha. Who's calling, and where are you calling from?
I am Juanita Barron. I am LaMika's grandson, her son's mother.
Hi, Juanita. How are you? What would you like to share? Do you have a question for the wonderful future husband and wife?
That's my former mother-in-law.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Hi. What do you want to share, Juanita?
I would just like to say...
Okay, so you want to turn the volume down, sweetheart, in the background, because you have feedback and delay, so just turn that down so it doesn't distract you.
Okay. I would like to say that I have always told LaMika that a man should bring the best out in you. And as I look at her, because I have been there with her through her last marriage, I am her ex-husband's mother, and I see the glow in her that D'onte brings out in her, and that's what a man should do, bring the best out in you.
Wow.
And I always used to tell her, never let and never wait on a man's validation. Validate yourself. And I'm absolutely so proud of her and the glow that she has now. And I'm proud of D'onte, and I am looking and watching their journey. So that's just all I wanted to say. And love you guys.
We love you so much. Don't do that, Miss Nita. Don't
do it.
You know what? I am so proud of you, Miss Juanita, because you're the type of mother-in-law that some people should have. I ain't even going to get into my mother-in-law. I thank you, girl. That was beautiful. Love it.
She's amazing.
Love you.
Thank you.
We love you
welcome.
too.
Bye, guys. And
Bye-bye.
I'm watching.
That's right. We got some wows going on in the comments. We got, oh, that's so nice from Annie down in North Carolina. Sia is saying, now that's powerful. Her ex-mother-in-law. That's something, absolutely, guys. It's something that when you find a man that brings out the best in you, a man that's no longer hindering you. All right, we about to touch some nerves with Latasha that's not hindering you, that's stopping you from growing because he Peter Pan and he ain't growing up, and you got to stagnate yourself for him. Because I'm going to tell you, when I let go of the weight, that's where your girl Tasha got
What the
birthed.
offering plate
So
at?
y'all think that, okay?
Going to the church at now.
Hello, 20
offering
years,
plate.
10 years too
Let's
long.
pass the offering
YGT came from that. That girl was birthed from that thing, yes, because that man I got
Look.
now made me feel like
From
I'm a
the
woman.
ashes, from the
Hello,
ashes.
there you go. There we go.
Yes.
Yes. So, and how you like that oil? But
It
look,
feels good.
okay, so one of the questions I was going to talk about is, how does divorce and how do you interact and how does it affect the children, the friends, and the family? But I think Ms. Juanita to answer part of it. But how are the children impacted, and how do those relationships with friends and family happen? Because I'm gonna tell you, I saw one of my ex-husband's co-workers at a restaurant one time, and it was down in North Beach, and I was like, "What you guys down here to eat?" They's like, "No, we down here to look at the banquet room." I said, "Oh, what are you doing? Somebody having a wedding or something?" They didn't want to tell me that they were celebrating their 35th year anniversary. The Stokes. Ed would know who they are. And Ed being my ex-husband's friend too and working with me. But they did not want to say that. I was like, just say it. Just because me and the ex and we divorced, that don't mean you divorced. It's okay. I'm happy for you. So what have you ran into when it came to children and friends and their relationships? Why your eyes sweating?
My eyes sweating?
It look like you about to start a tear up, girl.
Oh, maybe it's this light. Maybe it's this glue keeping these lashes on.
She getting
I don't
emotional.
know.
Miss Juanita got her. Go ahead.
I think one big general thing is that you may be healing and you may be in your own process, but everybody else's process and timeline doesn't necessarily match yours. And so you may be expecting, because I've come to terms with it, I'm okay with it, I've let go of it, I'm healed from it, but the people that are really, really intimately in that circle may still be being affected by it to a degree well after it's over. That close girlfriend used to call and say, "Girl, can you believe what he did? He did da 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 da." And then if somebody else pops up in the picture, is your girl going to give that new person the same benefit of the doubt that she would have given the first one? No, she's going to be hesitant. And so it's like, you know what I'm saying? And that goes for family members, close family members. There's a degree to which everyone is vulnerable your first time around being in love and in a really maybe lengthy commitment. And everyone has to recalibrate and decide how they feel about you loving again, because they knew how love hurt you or how love broke you down. They were there and they were around for the crocodile tears and all that, the snot, the sobbing, the hospitalizations, whatever. And now they have to decide that they want to be vulnerable with you again. And people think we project our healing onto them, and it's a process. You might get your feelings hurt. You might have some arguments with some people who you love and care about in that journey, because it's a process, and that's one realization that you have to kind of be ready for if you ever have that situation.
All right.
Children are its own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So children, I think it's very important that when anybody goes through a divorce, both parents, they have to be mature about how they even bring the issue to them. Because sometimes, depending on everybody's situation, one parent may be in a place to where, okay, I want to make sure my children are good and my children are straight. And then the other person may be, I'm so upset and bitter and all of this other kind of stuff to where I'm just going to make sure that the kids know the truth. Well, what truth? Your truth, or what actually happened. And so sometimes, unfortunately, both parents are not, sometimes both parents...
I'm on the same page about it.
Yeah, and sometimes you have one that's more messy than the other one. And so, you got to actually kind of help your children to say, hey, this is what happened. It wasn't your fault. Nothing you did. And so, and so sometimes depending on the parents, the children will be affected and be as emotional as the parent may be.
Yeah, and we were very thoughtful about how we introduce the other person. Yeah. Like, I was very slow to allow my child to be, until I knew where this was going for sure, I was very slow to allow my child to build a relationship, because when you have a child, and at this point our kids are young, and you know what I'm saying, so they're going to get attached very easily in a way that sometimes older children, I'm curious what people think about how you engage your older children when you've had like a divorce or like a long-term breakup. But for us, we have younger children, so we have to deal with some very unique issues. Like, they're leaning into a mommy figure. They're leaning into a father figure. They're going to get attached in a very, very different kind of way than an older child might be who's 18 or already grown and established.
Right.
And so that was a very unique thing. So I was very slow to allow him to get attached before I knew it was safe. Or felt it was safe.
Chance Young says you guys are looking good, and he said you don't always want to sugarcoat everything. Yeah. Tamika Harrison saying over there that she loves you both. And over here we got, you got too many letters in your name.
Peggy.
Oh, I was looking at the one above that.
Afro. That's my loctician.
Okay. Afro, you the loctician. So I told LaMika Robinson, I see the glow and I love it in her. And Peggy Goodwin Creek is saying, never too old to learn a better way of thinking. This has helped me gain a new perspective. Well, you know what? I'm so glad that helped you, Peggy, because that's what this platform is all about, helping people gain a new perspective, and no matter what they do. And you know what? I want to make sure y'all new people watching, y'all make sure you tune into your girl Tasha, because I'm always on point, no matter what it is, from politics on to everything else. So look, I want to know, when it comes to, so I guess that when y'all did have that, you got to tell the story. They did have a moment. They did have an aha moment that they didn't share that involved the shirt. I want you to touch on that aha moment, but then I want to say the aha moment is probably when you decided to learn that you was going to go out ahead and start dating before you got to the fact that you want to ask her or you want to put a ring on it. So that was a funny thing last time y'all called him. They said he put a ring on it. So in dating, pre-divorce or after post-divorce, what's different with how you guys dated than when you dated before your first marriages?
I think the place and role of friendship. And so I completely look, my whole definition of how you even pursue a long-term commitment completely changed after that. I think that people underestimate the value of friendship. Any long-term commitment that is substantial, that will last when your toots are saggy and he done lost his hair, his beard game is shot because he got patches. Any long-term commitment that is going to really last has to be grounded in, I fundamentally like you as a human being. And so if you can't get to the point where he know what your gas smell like and all that stuff, and you won't have this fundamental friendship.
She ain't talking about that unleaded stuff.
No, I ain't got time for that. I got a whole child. Ain't got time for it, okay? But if he can't get to the point where he can deal with you without your makeup on, you know what I'm saying? Like, as a person, like, I would kick it with you. We would Netflix. We ain't chilling yet because we try and wait till we get married. But we would, hang out, have a good time. You know what I'm saysaying? If you can't get that, like, this is my homie for life, though. Yeah. If you can't get to that point, there's no point of you trying to come at me, homie. If I don't know, how am I going to trust you with my insecurities? How am I going to trust you with my flaws? Because I've been through too much to try to dress it up for you.
And we were going there, Miss Audrey Johnson, before I allow Mr. Carrolls Sr. to go. The audience want to know, Mr. Card Logic, what is your opinion?
On what part? We talked about a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm. How about anything? Just I know that you was calculating because you that robot. Go ahead and just run down the line. But also, what changed in you? You are remarried. How was your dating before to when you started dating the wonderful Miss Jones that I know today as a friend?
Like, my divorce was like 2002, and I met her in 2008. So I had a long period of self-discovery and making a lot of mistakes and trying to fill voids and doing all the wrong stuff like what y'all did. No, I was just, because what happens is that when you realize you made the wrong choice, and like my divorce wasn't a messy one. It was like we just realized that like we couldn't go life and not be like, we knew at a point that we were not each other's mate. Like we knew that this was not going to work and there was no way to go further. And we parted amicably. So I didn't have that gut wrenching, like we're fighting and doing all this other stuff. So when I left, my process probably was a lot shorter than y'all's, because I was just like, I just want somebody. I knew that I wanted to be in a relationship. I just didn't know how to go about addressing the wounds, because even though it was amicable, it still was a long-term relationship. It still was a marriage. And so I went out and bought a brand new car, and I did all this stuff that I shouldn't have been doing so I could feel good. And a lot of people do that. And I you know, through card logic and just talking to people and everything, you find a lot of people, whether it's a long-term relationship or a divorce, a lot of people, when they leave, they go crazy. They go out there and they meet everybody and they sleep with everybody and they go buy stuff and they want to make themselves feel good. And that's all wounds coming out. The emotional spending, the emotional everything that people do. Yeah. And by the time you finally get to the point where you okay and you've corrected yourself, it's a lot of damage in the wake of all of that. So that's why I was like, when they were talking, I was like, wow. I was like, because I always preach self-love, and I always preach being able to kind of sit and be by yourself. Because a lot of people cannot be by themselves. And a lot of people, when they get out of the divorce, they need to replace it with another relationship or they won't feel whole again.
I am not your enemy. I'm sorry. Go ahead, baby, real quick.
No, I was just saying, I just want to piggyback that being by themselves, we called that period a season of solitude.
Yeah, season of solitude.
And so for the longest time, after, you know, I was going through the whole separation, divorce, even after the divorce, I had my own apartment, you know, for 2 years. And I didn't have a television. I didn't have cable. I have my kids every other week. You know, that's the agreement that we have. And so if I didn't have them, I was at home seeking God, fasting, turning my plate over, trying to figure out, God, what do I need to do to make sure that I'm good and I'm whole as a person?
Not for somebody else.
Not for somebody else, but as a person. You know, and it was in those times to where the Lord had to edify me, build me up, you know, help me to deal with my own self-esteem issues. You know, last week I was here talking about the porn thing. Like, I had to make sure that I was good, not just naturally, but spiritually as well, that I was in a good place, so that when the time did came, if that's what God had for me to be remarried again, I was ready. So, yeah.
All right. So we have I Am Not Your Enemy saying, how do you go from a friend to a lover? Because most women are not attracted to their friend and keeps them in the friend zone.
This is interesting also because in some ways it brings us to the story of the shirt. I think that friendship altogether is valuable. And so, yes, there are some people that will stay in the friend zone. There are. But there's some people you need to gauge, like, how am I going to trust you with my body if I can't trust you with my emotions? How am I going to trust you with my finances if I can't trust you with me as a person? Like, there's a degree, there's a balance. You need to be attracted to your mate. Otherwise, you might, you know what I'm saying, you know, make some poor decisions at some point. But I think that my point is, and so you might not find that special partnership. So, okay, love and partnership are two different things. I say they're two different people that should live in the same house. And for me, friendship is a part of that house, right? But you have to find the balance of this. I have a deep personal affection for you that is unique from other people. But I also have the ability to partner with you in life. Like, I'm doing my thing. You like my Martin to my Coretta. But, like, I agree. Like, there's some people in your life, they should just stay in the friend zone. Now, friends, while you're in a relationship, that's a whole other topic. But my point is that I think that there are some people that will always be in your life as a friend. And that's fine. But not necessarily if they can't be friends with your significant other. That's the line. Like, if they can't be friends with your bae, then they can't be friends with you.
But I'm not your enemy. You said, how do you move from friend to lover?
So
if once you've saved yourself and all this stuff, and then it happened, and it's not all the explosions that you want, what happens? Can you get a refund in exchange?
Oh, if you try, once you've tried and it doesn't work, if you try and it doesn't work, I see what you're saying.
What's your refund policy?
Child.
Is it a guarantee?
You better pray and lock your doors, because that might be fatal attraction.
Look, you behave. I'm not your enemy, because you'll get your girl Tasha to talk about some crazy stuff. Okay, I'm not even going to go there.
Let me answer. Because
you got your own question, but go ahead and do that.
I do?
There's a question over here for you too.
Okay.
But go ahead.
Yeah.
Because I know Corey.
You know exactly.
I know exactly
who you are.
He the friend zone. Friend zone. A lot of times, when you go from friend to lover, the point where you're the friend, you already kind of know that there's an attraction there. The intelligence and the logic comes in is that maybe this may go somewhere or not. I'm attracted to this person, but I still need to take the time to get to know them and build a friendship. And a lot of times people blur those lines. Now, if you're a friend and you know that this will never happen, then you're going to stay in the friend zone. But most of the time we kind of feel the chemistry and the attraction, but you know that there's certain things you got to shut down, because you got, if you are to have something long term, you need to kind of build the foundation.
You kind of test in a way, you kind of, there are moments where you can figure out if you are attracted to your friend in that way.
Exactly.
It ain't that deep. It ain't.
You said I had my own, because I know we.
Your girl Tasha gonna be quiet. I'm gonna plead the. Never mind. Anywho. The
I can't
men,
see all the questions.
do you agree or not agree, Mr. Card Logic? The men do that. They, Michelle Ford says, I feel like women process it before it's over, and men process it after it's over. Is that correct or not? What's your thoughts about that?
It's mostly correct, because I'm never, like I always say, I never preach absolutes. Like, everybody's different, but for the most part, yes, that's true. Because because women tend to lead more with their emotions. They're processing everything that's happening, and the guy's just like, all right, if we're gonna lead this, let's do it. And then after the fact, we like, dang, this hurts.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. That's a good one.
20 years, 10 years too long, preaching, and now you want to be. Never mind. Go ahead. Okay, let me find the next question here. Hold on here. That's a whole nother story there. 20 years, 10 years too long. Anyway, trying to make it work. Hello. Anyway, okay, so. In all this, I mean, we've heard a lot from you guys. You guys perform pretty well, but I guess I'm going to have to put you on the spot and let you share. Why do you believe that the other one is absolutely the right one for you?
So, there were many different confirmations that made me sure about who she was. We don't even have the time, but there was the one incident with the whole shirt thing. One particular morning, I had to go to work. I had to wear a suit and tie, and I'm a spiritual person, so my relationship with God is very unique. Like, I hear Him telling me what to do. Very specific instructions. And this one particular morning, I heard Him. He said, "Wear all black suit, white belt, white shoes, with the black shirt, and it had like this little fine stripes in it." And I didn't know why, but I'm building my relationship with God now, right? And so I go about work, and she asked me this one particular morning to, take a picture of what you got on. And so I sent it to her, didn't think much of it. And later, I had a real rough day at work that day. And she came by before she went home to drive past the house to give me a hug. Like, she was we was cool then. We was friends then. And so at that time, I came outside, and there was a strong pressing to not change my clothes. Because normally I change my clothes when I come home from work. And so I just went outside. It was like, don't change your clothes. Go outside, let her see what you got on. Went outside, and she just laughed at me.
I did.
She laughed. And I was like, am I ugly? Yeah, go ahead.
I laughed because this is what happened that morning, okay, in LaMika Chronicles. That morning, I was praying because I was wrestling with the idea of potentially loving again. And I knew that He had everything that I prayed for, right? He had everything that I prayed for. And so I said, all right, God, if this is who you want for me, I had the most random thing. I said, let him wear a striped shirt. If this is the one, let him wear a striped shirt. And I promised, send me a picture. I said, send me a picture of what you're wearing today. He sent me a picture. I was like, oh, I guess he ain't the one. Because all I saw was black. So when I go by his house, he had a rough day, and I was trying to give him a word of encouragement. I went by. I was like, what are you wearing? He was like, a shirt. I was like, no. But what's on your shirt? He said stripes. I said, you had that on all day? He was like, Yeah, I just took a picture, but you couldn't see it. I was like, do you have a lot of striped shirts? He was like, no, I got 2. I said, how often do you wear? When was the last time you... This is what women do. You know how we go on a team.
Trying to
we
really
go forward. We go forward. And
No.
it turns out he had the same shirt on all day. It was a striped shirt. And I know it seems simple,
fine.
but the stripes were so fine. But it was like a lot of different things that happened. They really affirm in a very big picture, beautiful, supernatural way, but also in simple ways, like who he is. And he is everything that I actually prayed and asked God for. And actually more. So, I mean, that's my simple version.
So I equate that all that FBI stuff after you already saw the striped shirt is how when we ask God to tell us something and then he tell us something and we try to ignore it because we're like, we don't think that's really the wrapping that we supposed to have, and we trying to get the package over here wrapped this way and he telling us to pick the package over here. But that's that. But look, we got to go real quick to go into about you guys because time runs by quick. We not even finished. I didn't even get to all my questions. Didn't get to all y'all questions. Do you guys do speaking engagements? How do they get in touch with you? And you guys saw on my page last week that somebody was in there talking about possibly starting a show. Would y'all like to see them come into WBGR? Hello. So go ahead. How do they get in touch with you guys?
You can find us on YouTube. We have our own channel. It's called Carrolls Ever After.
Yes.
Search it, subscribe, hit the notifications button. You can find us on Instagram at
Mika Bear 88
and D'onte Carroll, all one word, DonteCarroll.
Speaking engagements, yes. You can send us some direct messages on Instagram, but you can also email us at Carrolls, CarrollS, ever after @gmail.com.
Yes.
And Mr. Card Logic, how do they get you? Speaking engagements.
The best way that you can find me is www.mrcardlogic.com. That will point you to Instagram, Facebook, Periscope, YouTube, and Twitter. And you can find me there. That way you don't have to remember all the little names and stuff. It's just a pointer page. You can find me there and you'll see all my episodes and all my topics. I do speaking engagements. I can do trainings, coaching, or anything you want. I can work magic with these. Any topic you want, I can build something around it and come help people get that light bulb turned on because they might not, it might not be turned on just by somebody speaking to them. If you want to see it visually so that it sticks a little more, I got you covered.
And Mr. Card Logic, next episode you can find on the Card Logic page, 8
Facebook.
o'clock on Wednesday.
On Wednesdays,
What is the
every
topic
Wednesday.
this Wednesday?
This Wednesday is going to be communication and relationships.
And you have an upcoming event that you'll be participating in, and that's what?
Yeah, I have quite a few of them. But y'all go to my Instagram and find that out, though. I got quite a few.
Give at least
And be on the
one.
lookout this Saturday, too,
Yes,
for
this
the release
Saturday,
of our newest video.
new video, Carrolls Ever After on YouTube. We got a video coming out this Saturday.
About Marion
Don't
Young and
wanna
some other
miss
stuff.
it.
So subscribe to the
Subscribe to the channel.
Okay, and if you know
hit the
somebody,
bell.
on social media that don't do Facebook, go to Your Girl Tasha on YouTube. I upload the shows. His show from last week still got to be uploaded, but you can send a link to somebody because I believe that this is something that could bless somebody that have been hurt in a relationship. I was about to say restaurant. Hurt in a relationship, and they're trying to learn how to love again. You know, Your Girl Tasha don't care. Anyway, I will not be here next week because I'm going to Vegas. I'm going to Vegas. And I'm going to have some brand new products and stuff for y'all. How y'all feel like that liquid gold?
I love it. It feels good.
It feels good. You got to call Your Girl Tasha about that. 240-545-5695. Look for, it was a popular show. You guys voted for Mr. Tavon Jackson to be re-aired with the financial stuff. Check him out next week. The replay will be playing. And I'll see y'all the following week. Love you. Bye-bye, guys.
Twist. It's a sexy lady who walks around without being shady, who knows her values, who's gone through trials. Her smiles are captured from mouth to mouth. It's not the size of her thighs she worries about, but the pride she thrives to keep that drive.